Hey babes, my name's Hannah.
And my name's Chasity.
Welcome back to Bookish Babes. Today we're going to be giving you guys a list of books that we wish more people knew about. And this is like one of the many videos that we do that could be like multi-part long because we read a lot of indie novels, and I actually made an effort to not put all indie novels on here. I did some like traditionally published that aren't like super unpopular.
I did some as well, yeah.
Yeah, but ones that anytime I bring it up to somebody, they're like, oh, I've never heard of that book, or oh, I've never heard of that author. And I feel like, you know, typically when you ask people for book recommendations, they give you ones that are like on the top
like the
100 list right now, or they're like, you know, Stephen King, which I love Stephen King, but they're like James Patterson, you know, things that like everybody reads. These are not ones that everybody reads. These are ones that I've definitely recommended to people and they've loved them. So they're ones that I wanted to put on the list. But she has 6 and I have 5, so she's gonna go first.
Yeah, I'm gonna go first, and we have one of the same.
Yeah.
So do you want to save that for the last?
We can just do that one first.
Okay, we'll do that one first. The first one that we both recommend is The Rules of Bergen by Tracy Finlay.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
And she does have another one called The Falling of Stars. That's how you say it, right?
The Falling of Stars.
Yeah. We also read that one. We also loved that one. She writes really great books.
She is such a fantastic writer. This was her debut, and I was blown away by the writing. Like, blown away by, I mean, we read a lot of debuts, but she's a very talented writer. The story was amazing. It was twisty. It was amazing. But, man, I still am blown away by her talent for creating a world.
I've recommended this to people and they've liked it, and so that's why I feel like I wanted to mention it. I have recommended The Falling of Stars to people. I don't know that anybody that I've recommended it to has read it, but I promise if you read it, you'll like it.
Yeah.
They're both very good.
Yeah, so if you haven't checked out either of her books, I would definitely go check her out.
Yeah, but these are indie published, so you'd have to either have to order the physical copy online, or you'd have to like have like a Kindle or something that you could read ebooks on. Yeah. Which I even read ebooks on my phone, on like the iBooks app or the Kindle app. So
yeah, there's lots of ways to get it.
Yeah,
especially with today.
Yeah.
The next one I want to recommend is Every Last Fear by Alex Finlay. That's really
not related,
weird.
But...
Not related, but really weird. This book was really good. I'm always really skeptical going in, like, for anything that's like a psychological thriller or like a mystery. I always feel like, oh no, am I gonna like figure it out? You know, this one kind of caught me by surprise. I was really invested in this one. It felt more like a crime drama than just like a psychological thriller, like your typical psychological thriller. Almost like I was watching an episode of Law & Order.
Criminal Minds.
Your Criminal Minds, yeah. It was very, very good. Very good, and I really wish more people would pick it up. Like, and this is one of the ones that's traditionally published, so it was on my staff pick for quite a while. It's very good. Yeah. I would highly recommend it.
My next one is also indie, and it's one that I've told you to read so many times and you just won't listen to me. I've talked about it multiple times on the channel. It's A Love Letter to Whiskey by Candy Steiner.
I have it on my Kindle. It's just on the list.
So good. If you like romance, this was one where I was like in a major reading rut, and I read this one, and like I read it in like 24 hours. I was obsessed with it. It made me cry. It's so good. I want to say it's either her most popular or her highest rated book. It might be both. It might be both her most popular and her highest rated. It was incredible.
I constantly see her talking about it on her TikTok.
Because it's like how, I mean, she had written books before, but like this is when she really blew up, was when she read this one, or wrote this one, because it was that good. It's like one of those where it's like right couple, wrong time sort of situation, so they keep reconnecting at different points in their lives, but there's always a reason why they can't be together, and it's like very angsty.
Well, I'm in kind of a slump right now, so maybe I will pick
this one up.
I mean, I have it.
Yeah.
The next one I want to talk about is And When She Was Good by Laura Lippman. I love Laura Lippman. This is my first one by her, and I think it's extremely underrated. I think everyone should read it. I've talked about it on the channel before. It's about a story about a modern day madame just trying to kind of make her life work and just like play the system. And look like she's a suburban mom like everybody else. And I fucking loved it.
I have heard you talk about that one before, but you're the only person I've heard talk about it. So
I know.
Very fitting for this list.
Very fitting. It was recommended to me by my friend Jessica.
She has good recommendations.
She does have good recommendations, and she definitely would have good recommendations for this list.
Yeah. The next one is also traditionally published. Also something I've recommended to multiple people. I recommended it to you. You read it. You loved it. I recommended it to one of my fiance's family members who read it and loved it. It's Swear on This Life by Renee Carlino. One of my all-time favorites. Sort of a situation where this girl, it switches back and forth with chapters. Like one chapter is her reading this book that she's reading, and another chapter is her reacting to it. But she very quickly realizes that this book that she's reading is about her life from her point of view, but she didn't write this book. And so you kind of get to go back and see the horrific events of her life written by somebody who was close to her but not her, and see where she was like, that's not how that happened. But then in the end you see why it was changed. And that's all I kind of want to say about it, because I feel like, yeah, you feel like it's one of those that you need to go into as blind as possible. It was really, really, really good, though.
It was really good.
Yeah.
The next one I want to talk about is Folia by Cynthia A. Rodriguez. I recommend this one all the time. I recommended it to my cousin Tina, and she read it. She read it in a car ride. One car ride. Loved it. She loved it. This one, I've also talked about this on the channel before, I think in one wrap up or in maybe one of our psychological thriller videos.
Maybe both.
This one, it's about two patients in a psych ward who connects and escape. I fucking love it.
Too.
Fucking love it.
Yeah.
And the writing is so fantastic, and I just absolutely love it.
The next one that I want to talk about, I feel like this is definitely not, like, it's a little bit on the popular side, but not really. Usually people that I talk to haven't read it, but it is traditionally published. It's The Simple Wild by K.A. Tucker. I've definitely talked about this on the channel before too. I've definitely told you to read this also. The imagery is incredible. It takes place in pretty rural Alaska. And it's about this girl like reconnecting with her father after not seeing him for multiple years, and kind of seeing the life that he's made in this, you know, little Alaska town, and connecting with the people there when she comes from like a big city with like all the amenities. And it's really cool. Like the character development is great with all the characters involved. That's what I think is so cool, is every single one of the characters have this great character arc. 100% would recommend.
The next one I would say is Where the Shadows Lie by Cassie Sharp. Loved this book. I think the imagery was fantastic. The writing was phenomenal. This was the debut from Cassie, and I think everyone should read it. It was a twisty sort of psych thriller, and I think the character development was fantastic. And again, it was kind of like the same thing with Tracy. I was really just like blown away by how fantastic of a writer Cassie was. You could really tell she put a whole lot of work into this book, and it just showed. It was fantastic.
The very last one that I have, I wanted to put one on by this author, and this one was probably one of my favorites by her, if not my favorite. It's True Love Story by Willow Astor. Did you read this one? This is another one that you need to read. It's a musician romance.
I haven't.
It's very loosely based off of her story with her husband she's mentioned.
Oh.
It's such a great read. Once again, you have to really like romance to like it, but it's very angsty, but I loved every single second of it. He's kind of like this musician, and she's like this good girl from this Christian family, and they meet, but he is like all wrong for her, and it gets much darker than that. I promise it's not like one of those, you know, like fun little rom-coms. It's definitely not a rom-com. It's got a lot of angst going on. But I remember reading this and not expecting to like it as much as I did, and then like going on a binge. Oh, sorry.
Weapons of mass destruction. action!
Sorry, I just lived a little.
I've been wounded.
We've been impaled. Yeah, I remember, I think this was the first one that I read by her, and definitely wasn't the last. I'll pretty much read anything she puts out. She's a great writer. Yes. And she's so sweet.
She's such a little cupcake.
I love her. And I just love this freaking book. You need to read it.
The last one that I would like to recommend is Too Late by Colleen Hoover.
I second this.
So, like she said, Colleen Hoover has been getting a whole lot of attention on TikTok. Too Late was a story that she wrote on Wattpad, and it was free. It was under C. Hoover. She did release it on her website, her store.
Yeah, you can.
And then it's on Amazon now, right? Like
but at the time, it was not.
Wattpad. Yeah, it was only on Wattpad. She made it into a paperback under C. Hoover for a while. You know, it was free.
I think it was because she was in like some sort of contract and she couldn't publish another book under Colleen. Yeah.
So, anyways, despite that, you can get it in paperback now. It's fucking fantastic.
It is not.
It's
like
not
her other books.
It's not her typical one.
No.
It's a bit darker. It's not very dark.
A bit darker.
But it's a bit darker.
Literally a drug ring.
It's a bit darker.
It's just a bit.
It's a bit. It's fantastic though, I'll tell you. It's wonderful.
And it was hard to read at points. Like my anxiety was high at a certain point.
Yeah, there's definitely some trigger warnings there, but it's very good.
Like domestic abuse, sexual assault,
drug use, alcoholism.
Yeah. There's some maybe
violence.
like graphic warnings also. Yeah.
All the good shit, man.
I love, like, I went to Barnes & Noble the other day and I saw a whole table full of her books because they're so popular right now on TikTok.
That's nuts.
I know.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
So crazy. The amount of people that come into my store daily and are like, do you have Colleen Hoover? And I'm like, excuse me?
And I want you to know
that,
that we were OGs. I want that to be known.
I literally
But I'm not a gatekeeper.
No. I literally don't let one single person leave my store without knowing that I'm an OG.
Yeah.
I was here first.
But I'm also not a gatekeeper. I love all these new Colleen Hoover fans.
No, I do. I love it. And
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to give you all the information. This is what you need to know, and this is what you need to do, and this is how you need to do it.
Because we're OGs. That's
because
all
we're OGs.
Anyway.
We're not gatekeepers.
No.
We're just OGs.
Yeah.
But I think that's it for us. From the OGs. Okay?
We're also OG Taryn Fisher fans, and now she's blown up also. She's traditionally published.
So, that's what we are going to recommend to you today. You know, definitely come back for more recommendations because, you know, we like to talk a lot. So, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you know when we post next so you can get more recommendations. We'll see you next time. Bye.